Welcome to the English Storybook. Here's how our videos work. First, we'll dive into a short story packed with new vocabulary. After the story, we'll test your understanding with a quick comprehension check. Then we'll discuss key words and phrases to help you expand your English vocabulary. Finally, a quick quiz to test the new words and phrases you just learned. Before we start, be sure to turn on the CC or the closed captions so that you can read along with the story. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Now sit back, relax, and let's get started with today's tale. The Lost Kite. This is an intermediate level story. It was a sunny afternoon, and Emily was excited to finally fly her new kite. The sky was clear, with only a few fluffy clouds drifting lazily. Emily's father had given her the kite as a birthday gift, and she couldn't wait to see it soar. The kite was a beautiful shade of red, with a long, colorful tail that fluttered in the wind. Emily ran to the nearby park, her heart pounding with anticipation. She held the kite tightly, waiting for the perfect gust of wind. When it came, she released the string, and the kite shot up into the sky. She laughed as the kite danced in the air, twisting and turning with the breeze. As Emily guided the kite higher and higher, she didn't notice the wind growing stronger. Suddenly, a powerful gust caught the kite and pulled it away from her grasp. The string slipped through her fingers, and the kite began to drift farther and farther away. "Come back!" Emily shouted, chasing after it. But the kite was too fast. It floated over the trees and disappeared into the forest at the edge of the park. Emily hesitated. The forest was dark and mysterious, a place she had never ventured before. But she couldn't just leave her kite behind. Gathering her courage, she stepped into the forest, hoping to find it quickly. The trees were tall and thick, their branches creating a canopy that blocked out most of the sunlight. Emily could hear the rustling of leaves under her feet and the occasional chirping of birds, but otherwise, the forest was eerily quiet. She walked deeper into the woods, her eyes scanning the ground for any sign of her kite. Minutes turned into hours, and soon Emily realized she was lost. The forest seemed to go on forever with no clear path to follow. She sat down on a fallen log, feeling a lump form in her throat. What was she going to do? Suddenly, she heard a soft meow. Emily looked up and saw a small black cat sitting on a nearby rock. The cat had bright green eyes that seemed to glow in the dim light of the forest. "Are you lost, little girl?" the cat asked, tilting its head to the side. Emily blinked in surprise. "You can talk?" "Of course I can," the cat replied, stretching lazily. "But only to those who truly need help. You look like you could use some assistance." Emily nodded, too amazed to question how a cat could talk. "I'm trying to find my way home, but I don't know where I am, and I lost my kite in the forest." The cat jumped down from the rock and padded over to Emily. "Don't worry. I can help you find your way home, and perhaps we'll find your kite along the way." The cat led Emily through the forest, weaving in and out of the trees with ease. As they walked, the cat explained that the forest was enchanted, and only those with pure hearts could find their way out. "You see," the cat said, "this forest is a place where people come to discover something about themselves. It's not just about finding your way home. It's about finding your inner strength." Emily listened carefully. trying to make sense of the cat's words. She had always thought of herself as a timid girl, but now, deep in the forest, she realized she had been brave enough to follow her kite and face the unknown. They walked for what seemed like hours, but the cat never lost its way. Finally, they reached a clearing, and there, caught in the branches of a tall oak tree, was Emily's kite. "There it is!" Emily exclaimed, running to the tree. She carefully untangled the string and pulled the kite down. With the kite safely in her hands, Emily turned to thank the cat, but to her surprise, the cat was nowhere to be seen. Instead, there was a small, shimmering stone on the ground where the cat had stood. Emily picked up the stone, turning it over in her hand. It was warm to the touch and seemed to pulse with a gentle light. She put it in her pocket, feeling a strange sense of comfort. Following the path out of the clearing, Emily soon found herself back at the edge of the forest. The park was just ahead, the sun beginning to set in the distance. She had made it home. As she walked home, Emily thought about the cat and the enchanted forest. She didn't understand everything that had happened, but she knew she had learned something important. She had discovered her courage, her inner strength, and a sense of adventure she never knew she had. From that day on, whenever Emily flew her kite, she carried the shimmering stone in her pocket. It reminded her of the talking cat and the day she got lost in the forest. But more importantly, it reminded her that even when things seemed scary and uncertain, she had the strength to find her way. And if she ever got lost again, she knew she wouldn't be alone. Somewhere in a magical forest, a talking cat was watching over her, ready to guide her home. The end. Comprehension check. Feel free to pause the video and take your time with each question. Number 1. Why did Emily get lost in the forest? A. She was playing hide and seek. B. She followed her kite too far. C. She was chasing a butterfly. D. She was looking for her cat. The answer is B. She followed her kite too far. Number 2. What was unusual about the cat Emily met? A. It had bright green fur. B. It could talk. C. It could fly. D. It was a giant cat. The answer is B. It could talk. Number 3. How did the cat help Emily? A. It gave her directions to a nearby village. B. It magically teleported her home. C. It called for help from other animals. D. It led her back to a clearing. The answer is D. It led her back to a clearing. Where did Emily find her kite? A. In a tree. B. In the middle of the forest. C. In the hands of the talking cat. D. Back in the meadow. The answer is A. In a tree. Vocabulary. Key words and phrases from the story. Heart pounding. When someone's heart is pounding, they feel nervous, afraid, or excited. Pounding is the word we use for a continuous, loud noise, like banging. For example, a hammer pounding a nail, or someone pounding on the door. If your heart is pounding, it is beating very fast and very loudly. Here are some example sentences. Emily could feel her heart pounding as she realized she was lost in the forest. His heart was pounding with excitement as he opened the letter. With her heart pounding, she stepped onto the stage for the first time. Anticipation. Anticipation is a feeling of excitement about something that is about to happen. For example, Emily waited in anticipation as the kite fluttered in the wind, hoping it wouldn't get stuck in a tree. The anticipation of the holiday season filled the children with excitement. He felt a heavy mix of anxiety and anticipation before his big presentation, so he's nervous and he's excited. Next, flutter. To move quickly and lightly in the air. Think of a butterfly or a bird's wings. Or someone can also flutter their eyelashes. Or if you feel excited or nervous, sometimes your heart can flutter. Here are some example sentences. The kite fluttered wildly as the wind picked up, pulling Emily further into the forest. A butterfly fluttered by, catching Emily's attention for a moment. Her heart fluttered with excitement when she saw the surprise. The next word is hesitate. Hesitate means to pause before taking action or talking, usually because of uncertainty or fear. Maybe you're nervous about what you want to do or say, and so you pause just a little bit. Here are some example sentences. Emily hesitated before following the cat deeper into the woods, unsure of what to expect. He hesitated at the door, wondering if he should really go in. She hesitated to speak, afraid of saying the wrong thing. Next is the word venture. Venture means to take a risky or daring step into an unknown place. You'll see the word venture is very similar to adventure. And just like an adventure, to venture into something is to go somewhere that you don't know about. Some example sentences. Despite her fear, Emily ventured into the dark forest in search of her lost kite. They ventured into the unknown, ready for whatever adventure awaited them. Few had ever ventured into the mysterious cave, making it an enticing challenge. You'll also hear the word venture used when going into business, as in a new business venture. Or, if you want to be creative, you can say something like, I'm going to venture into the kitchen and find something for dinner. You don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be an adventure, a dinner adventure, that you'll venture into. Yeah, all right. Next up, gather courage. Gather courage means to prepare oneself mentally to face something difficult or frightening. And it doesn't have to be fighting a lion. It can be something like speaking in public, meeting new people, or going on a job interview. All of those things you might have to gather your courage for. Here are some example sentences. Emily had to gather her courage before following the mysterious cat deeper into the woods. He gathered the courage to speak up during the meeting despite his nervousness. She needed to gather her courage to confront the situation head-on. Next up, eerily. Eerily means in a strange or frightening manner. Here are some example sentences. The forest was eerily quiet as Emily walked through it, with the only sound of her footsteps breaking the silence. The wind howled eerily through the trees, making her shiver. Howl is a great word that we use for like yelling, especially for dogs. But when the wind howls, it is an eerie sound, so it howled eerily through the trees. The old house stood eerily still, as if waiting for something to happen. Next is a lump in the throat. A lump is like a little ball that you might feel under your skin. When we talk about a lump in the throat, we don't mean you really feel the ball. What it means is it's almost like there's a ball in your throat and you can't speak. Why? Because you feel too emotional or on the verge of crying. And so we say, I have a lump in my throat. Here are some example sentences. As Emily thought about being lost, she felt a lump in her throat, but she tried not to cry. He felt a lump in his throat when he said goodbye to his friends. The emotional speech left everyone with a lump in their throats. Assistance. To help or support someone. Here are some examples. The talking cat offered its assistance to Emily when she got lost in the forest. She needed assistance carrying the heavy boxes up the stairs. Don't hesitate to ask for assistance if you don't understand the instructions. And I hope I am being of some assistance to you in learning English today. Next up is enchanted, meaning magical or charmed, such as this picture of an enchanted forest. Some example sentences. The talking cat seemed to have an enchanted presence, guiding Emily safely home. The forest looked enchanted under the light of the full moon, with a magical glow in the air. She felt as if she were in an enchanted world where everything was possible. Or if you're feeling romantic, you can look at your wife and say, "You look quite enchanting tonight, my darling." Ooh, very romantic. Next up is inner strength. Inner strength is the mental or emotional resilience meaning strength, to overcome challenges. So being emotionally or mentally strong to take on whatever challenges you face. For example, Emily found the inner strength to keep going, even though she was scared and tired. She relied on her inner strength to overcome the difficult challenges she faced. Finding his inner strength, he decided to take control of his life and make positive changes. And here's a little challenge for you if you're up to it. Think of a time when you had to find your inner strength. Maybe you had to give a presentation or go for a job interview, but sometime when you had to find your inner strength. And if you'd like, go ahead and put that in the comments below. And finally, the word clearing. A clearing is an open space in a forest without any trees. Here are some examples. After walking for a while, Emily and the cat finally reached a small clearing in the forest where the sunlight streamed through. They set up camp in a clearing by the river, surrounded by tall trees. The deer grazed peacefully in the clearing, unaware of the boys' presence. Quiz. Let's review some of the new vocabulary. Feel free to pause the video at any time. Which word best describes helping another person? A. Courage. B. Assistance. C. Inner strength. D. Anticipation. The answer is B. Assistance. If something is moving quickly and lightly in the air, it is most likely A. Whispering. B. Hesitating. C. Fluttering. D. Eerily. The answer is C. Fluttering. Which of the following describes the feeling when you are nervous or emotional and find it hard to speak? A. A lump in the throat. B. Heart pounding. C. Gathering courage. D. Enchanted. A. A lump in the throat. When someone ventures into a new place, what are they doing? A. Walking confidently in a familiar area. B. Moving cautiously in a dangerous situation. C. Entering an unknown or risky place. D. Staying in one spot to think. The answer is C. Entering an unknown or risky place. The phrase heart pounding is often used to describe A. A calm and peaceful moment. B. A moment of intense fear or excitement. C. A slow and steady heartbeat. D. A feeling of sadness. The answer is B. A moment of intense fear or excitement. Emily felt her blank as she realized she was lost in the forest. Heart pounding. Emily felt her heart pounding as she realized she was lost in the forest. The old forest looked blank under the moonlight, like it was filled with magic. Enchanted. The old forest looked enchanted under the moonlight, like it was filled with magic. Despite being afraid, Emily blanked her courage and decided to follow the talking cat. Gathered. Despite being afraid, Emily gathered her courage and decided to follow the talking cat. The talking cat offered its blank to help Emily find her way back home. Assistance. The talking cat offered its assistance to help Emily find her way back home. The forest was blank quiet, making Emily feel uneasy as she walked through it. Eerily. The forest was eerily quiet, making Emily feel uneasy as she walked through it. When Emily first heard the cat speak, she blank. A. Hesitated to follow it. B. Immediately ran away. C. Ignored the sound. A. Hesitated to follow it. As Emily walked through the forest, she could feel a blank in her throat, but she kept moving forward. A. Butterfly. B. Lump. C. Whisper. The answer is B. Lump. Emily had to rely on her blank to keep going, even when she felt scared and alone. A. Inner strength. B. Hesitation. C. Anticipation. The answer is A. Inner strength. The wind blew gently, and the kite blank in the air, leading Emily further into the forest. A. Hesitated. B. Ventured. C. Fluttered. The answer is C. Fluttered. Emily finally reached a blank in the forest, where the trees opened up to reveal a small patch of sunlight. A. Guidance. B. Clearing. C. Enchantment. The answer is B. Clearing. When someone's heart is pounding, they are usually calm and relaxed. True or false? The answer is false. When someone's heart is pounding, they are usually excited or afraid. To gather courage means to find the strength to face something challenging. True or false? The answer is true. Eerily is used to describe something that feels safe and comforting. True or false? The answer is false. Eerily describes something that is scary, like the eerily quiet forest. When you feel a lump in your throat, it's easy to speak clearly. True or false? The answer is false. When you feel a lump in your throat, you are too emotional to speak clearly. Inner strength comes from a source outside of yourself. True or false? The answer is false. Inner strength comes from inside of you. Thank you for hanging out with the English Storybook. I hope you enjoyed the story and learned some new English skills along the way. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more exciting stories and lessons. See you next time for another adventure in the English Storybook.